Over the last 2 weeks, I've encouraged us to have a comprehensive view of life. A comprehensive view of life, which means embracing the parts of life that we usually want to avoid. Not only do we want to avoid pain and grief, but we want our institutions to protect us from pain and from grief. We want our churches to be happy-clappy. And yet to be happy-clappy all the time is not only impossible, it is disingenuous. And so, as we try to grow and mature in our spirits, we embrace the full bag of life and all that it offers. And despite all that, in the face of the way life is, we celebrate the deep goodness of life. And this is why life is not always fun, but it is always pregnant with joy. Well, our service today is kind of like a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. We begin in the spirit of giving thanks, and we will end with a Christmas carol. We start with the turkey and end with Santa Claus. We are being liturgically inappropriate. Church liturgy purists are turning over in their graves at this very moment. Are turning over in their gravy. You remember the joke from last week. See, you all do listen? Wow, okay. Thanksgiving is a secular state-declared holiday, and technically Christmas doesn't begin until December 25th. Yet, here we are. We're doing both and probably not doing either one justice. But this is where our hearts and our minds are. You saw the cover of the bulletin? Did you look at it close? You didn't? Take a look. It is inappropriate. We may still be munching on leftover turkey in our sandwiches while we are online ordering Christmas gifts for our grandkids. But it could be worse. This is better than munching on our grandkids and ordering presents for a bunch of turkeys. And I bet before the season's out, you will be ordering presents for a bunch of turkeys. It certainly can feel that way sometimes. But which came first? How did we get to this place? The mashup of the holidays in our culture or the train wreck of ho, ho, ho and cranberries in our own minds? Oh my God, the humanity. This reminds me of a joke. Why did the cranberries turn red? I'm waiting for the ushers to say, I don't know, Pastor Ken, why did the cranberries turn red? That's usually what they do. Thank you. Because they saw the turkey dressing. I know, again, oh my God, the humanity. Make Pastor Ken stop. Separating ourselves from the culture, that is, to be in the world but not of the world, is a demanding ask, especially this time of year. While our time together this morning may reflect the culture too much, I hope our experience of our time together is closer to what it means to be the people of God, and that is an experience of joy. Let me try to tie all this up into a neat package with a pretty bow. This Sunday, today, in church liturgical year circles, is known as Christ the King Sunday. This is the last Sunday of the church year. In the course of a church year, we go through a different holy days and liturgical colors such as purple and white and red and blue and gold and green. And as people of God, defined but not confined by a particular faith tradition, we began the church year last Advent. We began by being in solidarity with all suffering people for all time, waiting and preparing in hope for a better life for all people. We celebrated the realization of that hope, the realization of the truth that in a vulnerable human baby, the powerless love of God overcomes the loveless power of the world. And then the church year encourages us to celebrate that the secrets that make life most meaningful are no longer hidden but revealed to us. These truths are not so hard, but when revealed to us, they are a true epiphany. The truth and power of love and the true nature of life and love is given a name, and it's given a face. And we take time between Christmas and Easter to explore what happens when a real person tries to live a life of love in a fear-filled world. It cost him dearly. And yet, it was worth the love. This unfolds in the months between Christmas and Easter. It's a relatively short season. The longest season of the church year is the time between Easter and today. Today, which is the last Sunday of the church year. These are the months dedicated to prayer and to study, as our covenant says. Prayer and study of the Word about life, individually and corporately. We join generations of believers trying to figure out how to live and love faithfully and joyfully. It is a spiritual roller coaster with its ups and downs. It is a sleigh ride that has its moments of gliding across the beautiful frozen landscape of the world. It is a spiritual train wreck. Yes, we are a spiritual train wreck. A spiritual train wreck of Christ and culture. You see, there's a lot in this package of the church year. A lot. There's a lot in this gift of spirituality as we pray and we study and we explore. What is the meaning of the life of Jesus? His death, his resurrection, his ongoing spirit in the lives of his community of believers and followers. And what does it mean for us to respond faithfully to every challenge that God brings into our lives and brings to the doorstep of this church? Sometimes it's a roller coaster. Sometimes it's a sleigh ride. Sometimes it's a train wreck. But it's all grace. And you see, today, the last Sunday of the church year, is the bow on top. No matter how many ups and downs, no matter how many curveballs that life throws at us, no matter how many train wrecks we are in, the life, the spirit, the love, and the vision of Jesus, of a loving God, and the goodness of life reigns over all the roller coasters, all of the sleigh rides, all of the train wrecks of the world. Grace, love, hope, faith, courage, justice, peace. These are the last words because Jesus is King. And so we follow ancient traditions that remind us to look not to the past, really. I mean, we explore tradition and we look at this person's life that lived a long time ago and all of that. But our hearts and our minds and our lives, individually and corporately, are intentionally pointed to the future. Now, we do some old, ancient things, and we'll be doing that today. But let me remind you, we hang green branches in the middle of winter to remind us not to look back, but to look forward to life-giving warmth of love in springtime. We light candles during the shortest days of the year, not to look back, but so that we may look forward to the longer days of light and sunshine and what it means to be a light ourselves in the world. We sing carols of hope, not so much because of nostalgia, but we do so with a defiant edge to our voices because looking always toward the future, we know God's love, peace, and justice will have the last word of this year, next year, and every age to come.